Be surprised how many women find my stature strangely alluring. And Mulder responds,
"Oh, this is men too." Yeah.
You'd be surprised how many men do.
That's true. Yeah. You know what? At the time, I'm not sure how that joke would have played. It's hard to see how that kind of humor played back then versus now.
Well, to give Duchovny credit, he plays one of the best positive trans characters that we ever saw on television in Twin Peaks. Which ended up was actually the thing that got Chris Carter interested in having him play Agent Mulder. I forget the character's name on Twin Peaks, but he plays a transgender, a trans woman FBI agent.
Oh, I had no idea.
Yeah, and basically the character shows up, and Kyle MacLachlan's character, Agent Cooper, is just like, "Oh, I knew you as," and they're like, "Yeah, I've transitioned," and they're like, "Oh, great," and that's it.
Yeah,
it's done. It's really, Twin Peaks did a lot of cool things. They did a lot of stuff that's just out of hand, weird, but they did a lot of cool things in that, and that's one of them,
Yeah, they, I have never seen much of Twin Peaks, but I know it as a series that tried a lot of things, and that's cool. I like shows that don't sit on their laurels, and shows that kind of like push TV forward. Because while I didn't continue with X-Files, I do know that it influenced, Buffy, Supernatural in many ways. It kind of like, obviously there were procedurals before this, and there were like case of the week episodes, but it did kind of like premiere the whole monster of the week thing now.
Well, the show that really did it was Kolchak the Night Stalker, which we covered in a previous episode. And if you want to check that out, that's on the NBC app. All the episodes are available. There were 2 made-for-television movies also, but for some weird reason, the rights, NBC Universal doesn't have them because it was made for ABC television, the TV movies. But the Kolchak is about basically a reporter, like a crime reporter, who ends up encountering all sorts of weird supernatural events, and he's played by Darren McGavin. Darren McGavin. You should definitely check it out if you've never seen it. There's only 22 episodes. It was only lasted for 1 season, but that show right there is that show, and there's also a television show called The Invaders, which was produced by Larry Cohen, who made Q and made The Stuff and all sorts of cool, weird exploitation horror flicks back in the day. And The Invaders is where we get the whole thing with, the aliens trying to change our atmosphere into their atmosphere, which was Carpenter used in They Live.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's another cool show too, and I really wish it would be available streaming somewhere, but I haven't been able to find it. I think it's only available on like DVD.
Yeah.
All right. So anyway, they go. They find out that the sheriff is also a former sideshow performer. That he was Jim, the dog-faced boy. And they see him doing something strange, burying something, and they go to see what he buried, and he comes out and catches them, and he's asking them about it, and they show him a picture of him as Jim, and he's like, "Oh, look how skinny I was."
Yeah.
I love the sheriff character. He's so great. And then they're like, "What are you doing burying this potato?" And he's like, "It's like you get a water on your hand, you rub a sliced potato on it, you bury it on the full moon." It's like, okay.
Classic wisdom.
Yeah, it's just such a great little, bit that's just, taken out. And so anyway, after that, they're trying to figure out, I'm sorry. I should say Mr. Nutt is back at his trailer, and he hears somebody outside. Oh, the conundrum is chasing a dog through the park.
And this is when the attack happens on Nut, right?
Yeah, and then Mr. Nut gets attacked by whoever had, killed the previous victims, and so then later on, they take Vincent Schiavelli, who's the first to find the body, and he's distraught and drunk, and the sheriff takes him, puts him in a drunk tank. And they realize,
which is what you should always do when someone's grieving, just
absolutely,
lock him up, dude.
Lock him up, put him in the drunk tank.
I mean, dude, his tantrum wasn't even that much,
No, really
bangs the wall once, and then the sheriff's like, "Oh, you're gonna hurt yourself or hurt me, so I'm taking you in."
Well, maybe the sheriff's dealt with this before.
Yeah, that's true.
So they realize after they've locked him up in the drunk tank, that his conjoined twin is missing, and that his conjoined twin has been separating from him and crawling around and trying to merge with a new brother because it hates being attached to him because he's drinking himself to death.
Right.
And it is, talk about, it's a great episode. And there's one last laugh to it, obviously, where, the conundrum is walking around and Leonard, which is Vincent Schiavelli's conjoined twin brother, attacks him. And then the Mulder, Scully, and the sheriff run past him, and they see him lying on the ground, and you realize that he is devoured.
Yeah.
Vincent Schiavelli's brother. And then, of course, the gag the next morning when they see him, it's like, what's wrong with him? And he's like, I don't know, it must be something I ate. And it's the only time.
So gross. So gross.
So gross.
Dude, you know what? It's funny because, there is some horrific imagery in the episode. Like early on, we actually see a pretty gory image for back then on TV. We see the actual photo of an up close shot of the wound of the gentleman from the pool, But to me, the grossest moment in the whole thing was watching. I forget his name. The guy who can eat anything, right?
The enigma is his name in real life. The conundrum is what they call him in the episode.
Yeah, dude, watching him eat the fish, dude. Oh God.
Yeah,
my God. It was rough. I have a hard time with seafood myself, and just watching that, dude, ooh, rough.
It's funny, but like I said, he's a genuinely sweet man in real life.
Yeah, I bet.
But he does, God bless him. I was talking with a friend about, why I've never watched a certain movie. Human Centipede. And I'm like,
oh, dude, I could never.
No. I was like, I sat through Old Boy because it's a fucking masterpiece.
Yeah.
When he eats that live fucking octopus, but no way I'm fucking sitting through.
Absolutely not.
No.
I mean, there's, to me, there's a line. I'm down. I think that artists should be able to express themselves in any way possible. But again, as my mom said, it's not for me,
Yeah, exactly. Not for me. All right. So we're going to take a quick break. And when we return, we're going to talk about what kind of content Pat and I are currently enjoying. And in a segment we like to call What's on Your Shelf. We'll be right after the break. We'll be right back after the break. This is The Literary Nerd. Okay, so we're back with What's on Your Shelf, which is a Q&A with our guests about what content they are currently enjoying at home. I usually go first and get it out of the way. So today I'm suggesting the 1974 paranoid political thriller, The Parallax View, starring the stunning Warren Beatty. And he really, Jesus Christ, he looks good in this movie. In the tale of a reporter investigating a shadowy corporation's involvement with manufacturing mind-controlled political assassins. It was directed by the great Alan Pakula with a screenplay by David Giler and Lorenzo Semple Jr. It's based on Lauren Singer's 1970 novel, and it co-stars Hume Cronin, William Daniels, who our audience might know as the voice of Kit from Knight Rider, and the incredible Paula Prentice. And it's available streaming right now on Amazon Prime. Highly recommended, particularly with, the kind of shenanigans we have going on with extremists in the U.S. right now. It's still, that film is still really, really incredibly relevant, unfortunately so. But the parallax view.
Yes, indeed. And
what do you got for us, Pat? What are you currently reading or listening to or watching?
Right now, I'm doing three things. I watch a show with my wife. When my wife and I visit my mother in Freeport, we watch a show with her. And then when I'm, doing stuff alone or kind of like winding down, I'll watch something myself. So what I'm watching with the whole family together is The Sopranos. It's just, it's perfect. It's probably the greatest show of all time. I'll put it right up there with 6 Feet Under.
It is without a doubt that era of television. There's just so many shows that were so incredible and stuff and long form storytelling that grew out of that. Yeah, The Sopranos is a benchmark. Absolutely. Beautiful. Without The Sopranos, you don't have The Wire. Without The Sopranos, you don't have Breaking Bad.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. It's one of those shows that it doesn't matter that time has passed. It's as good today as it was then. It's just, to me, it's pitch perfect. Watching that with the family, when it's me and my wife, we're watching Modern Family, which is a very different vibe, obviously, but it's fun.
Yeah, you know what? I really need to sit down and watch Modern Family. I've only caught a couple of episodes, but it's a brilliantly funny show.
Yes, it's very light. It's fun and it's feel good, which I like. And speaking of life and feel good, when I'm alone on my Dolo, dude, I'm watching the Pokemon anime. I haven't watched it since I was a kid, so I've been big into Pokemon cards recently. I
saw you post the other day that you picked up a bunch of new cards.
Oh yeah, dude. I mean, what I use social media for now is pretty much my entire TikTok is just Pokemon opening cards, and people there don't even know what I do. They just follow me to see my cards.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I kind of like that.
Well, it's like I to be honest, I never got into Pokemon, but back in the day, it was a big Magic the Gathering, guy, and like idiots, me and my friends, we managed to sell all our Magic cards.
Oh, it happened, man.
And we made a couple $100 for cards that are now like astronomically expensive cards, like Black Lotuses. My buddy sold a Black Lotus for $600 once. So
yeah, dude, that's what I mean. It's easy to look back and go, oh, I wish I would have gotten packs of this, and this, kept this sealed and did this, and that. But the truth is that, we had a product as kids that we valued in the moment, but no one could have known what it would do. I mean,
yeah.
For instance, Pokemon it's known as the biggest franchise in the world, but the cards, they weren't recently a huge part of that. Like the cards were like, they still sold and they were still consistently put out, but they blew up crazy in the past year. Like now, if you go to Target or Walmart, people will wait for the restock, just scalp them, put them on eBay, charge double, triple, quadruple the price. It is insane right now.
You want some funny shit, man? Go on the Facebook Long Island, flea market / garage sale, sales page.
Yeah.
And some of the somebody recently I was looking, they had two used jacuzzi tubs, barely used, one step in, one, non-step in, 3,000 and 1,800 each. Buyer must remove.
Oh, dude, it's insane. It's insane.
So wait a minute. So basically, two used tubs, which are now valueless because they're used, you want $5,000 for, and you want us to come there and rip them out.
No